Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's a little chilly out here this morning, but it feels good. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, and there was actual rain hitting the house. I said, oh my God, we are getting some rain. And the ground is still damp this morning, but you can tell we didn't get a big heavy rain during the night. But, I mean, it rained pretty good for what time it rained. And I'm happy for that. The plants are happy for it. So I thought I'd just come out here and check out everything. Go to the mailbox and see if I got some mail this morning. Hopefully we'll get more rain sometime today or tonight. But the ground is still damp, so we got a pretty good shower. Enough that it's going to help the plants, that's for sure. Oh, all I got is a phone book. I didn't even know they sent phone books out anymore. Lone Star Directory. One thing I wanted to check on was my collard plants that we just planted. See how they're doing after that little bit of rain. So I'm going to walk out here and take a look. Flip down. But see what I'm talking about with these peppers? Look how the wind just blew that plant over. It's got peppers on it, but they're not big enough to pick. I'm going to have to stake that up a little bit with something. I'll find something in a little bit and come back out here with it. Stake it up some. That pepper's doing good because it's up against the building, the shed, and it blocks the wind coming from behind it, so it didn't bother it. My Rose of Sharon is still alive. Barely. I needed to get that in the ground, but I wasn't sure where to put it. But you can see the garden is sure perked up. All the plants are looking perky this morning. And I'm going to have to start doing something with my bucket planter, I think. It looks to me like it's kind of leaning. I may be wrong, but the ground is so uneven back here. And I got a couple more okra up there. I picked them all yesterday. But that little bit of rain last night, look at here, Lucky. Good morning, Lucky. This is the second time I've seen him this morning because I already fed the kitty cats this morning. Where you going? Huh? Where you going? He's fattening it up, I'll tell you. He's a pretty healthy cat. He eats good. But see, look, I got a few more okra out here that's big enough to barely harvest. I can come out here and get those to go with the ones I've already got yesterday. And look at that one. So I got to remember to do that. Come out here and get those. And see, the wind just broke that pepper plant off. And I didn't tie it up to that stake, which it needs to be tied up. And see, I got some more little Hungarian purple peppers since I harvested a bunch of them. Got a bunch of them back here. A jalapeno back there. And my catnip. I thought my catnip was gone, but some of the roots got down in that tote. And it started a plant there. But it'll be all right if it survives next year and gets too thick in the onions. I can always pull my onions out and eat them. Plant onions somewhere else. But look at this. My collard plants. I got to start finding more pots to move some collard plants to. And my banana tree, it's surviving. The leaves don't like the hot sun, but it's there. And my holy basil, that's looking good. I'm going to have so many plants of that to move out of here somewhere else. Can't get that out. Yeah, both of those little banana trees are surviving. I've got to get leaves and stuff and pile up around them, though, before cold weather. And there's my collards let me get out of the view of them. It looks like all of them are surviving. That one little one right there looks kind of iffy, but it's still alive. But you know how big those things can get, so I'm going to have a raised bed full of collards, that's for sure. And my poor watermelons are still surviving, but barely. This one's trying its best to put out another watermelon right there. I don't know if it's going to make it, though. It's so late in the season. I really don't. But that one there's probably good. I can probably cut it and cut it open pretty soon. Doesn't look like it's got any black spots or anything on it. That's probably the last watermelon I'll get for this season. Look at him. Following me around, laying on the rocks. Yeah, he's following me around, laying on the rocks. Yeah, that little bit of rain and cooler temperatures we got last night sure fixed these right up. But it's put bugs back on them, which I don't like. I'll have to come out here and harvest some of them before the bugs eat them. Because it seemed like right after a rain is when those worms attack everything. I'll have to spray them some more. But I mean, that's a beautiful plant right there. Tomato bush out there's living, and it's trying to produce some tomatoes. I don't know if it'll make it or not. Don't know if we got enough warm weather left. But yeah, I got the canopy all down, and maybe my tomatoes will ripen up. Checking my plants to see where I might have missed some. Yeah, my cilantro, it just does not like the sun of any kind. So I'm going to end up planting holy basil in that. Or maybe a collard. I might just put a collard plant in there. That planter's probably big enough. Lucky, what do you think? You think that planter right there is big enough for a collard plant? Huh? I think it might be. Look at him. He's a sweetheart. Yes, he is. He's a sweetheart. That white on him is so pretty. But look at my collard, or my tree collards. I sprayed those and it got the worms off of them, but they're full of holes. They're still edible, but yeah, I wish the worms would leave my plants alone. I guess they're hungry too. And there goes my radishes, they come to life after this rain last night. And my arugula, look at there. You know, I scalped that arugula and made that salad with it, and it's come right back out. And this little tomato plant is full of little grape tomatoes. See how they bloom up in a clump, just like grapes? And I got to come out here and fix this. I was shortening it. And I run out of daylight, y'all. So I've got to come back out here and take care of that, I think. But yeah, I thought you'd like to come do a walk check with me and check on my tomatoes and my other plants since the rain last night. There's 2 tomatoes right there. They're green, but they're tomatoes. And I'm not getting as many this year as I did last year, this time of year. I guess it's because of the weather, the way the weather had been all summer, just so unpredictable and dry again. Let's see, there's another clump right down there. Clump of tomatoes. See how that clump started? All those little blooms all in a clump. They grow just like grapes. Like right there, that's going to be a whole clump of tomatoes. Got one little one, 2 little ones right there. I was hoping this one would put out a couple more tomatoes. This is the weirdest thing. As big as this plant is, I ended up with just one of those tomatoes off of it. It was huge. And there was someone else that told me that the same thing happened to them. The plant was beautiful, it got big, and it put out one great big tomato, and then that was it for the whole season. I've never seen a tomato plant do that. But I don't see any tomatoes on it. Yeah, I do right there. So we'll see what happens with that one. I mean, I don't have an overabundance. Uh-oh, my cats are going crazy. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, quit. He's after Goldie. Oh no, the little buddy's getting into it too. I hate to see him fight, but that was Goldie. Lucky don't like Goldie. And little buddy don't either. There's little buddy. But yeah, Lucky ran Goldie right out of the yard. Telling that kitty cat that she's on their territory to go home. You smell Goldie, huh? He's sniffing around. He smells Goldie. But see, that's what I put up with these fur babies. I love these 2 fur babies to death, but they can get in spats with these other cats. They don't so much fight one another anymore. I think they're starting to become family, so to speak. But, yeah, they get in spats with Goldie. I guess Lucky just chased Goldie right on back up the street. And I got tomatoes. Look at there. And I just left it. the tomato vine grew so tall over the little trellis thing. It grew right on top of the rose bush, and the rose bush is supporting it. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm leaving it right there because I got another whole clump of tomatoes right there coming. They may not get ripe out here, but what you can do if they're out here on the bush long enough, you can take them and pick them, put them in the house, maybe in a brown paper bag, and they'll ripen. They'll go ahead and ripen for you in that bag in the house. Or you can do like I do a lot of times. If you have a lot of the green tomatoes, you can make chow chow with them. Yeah, I just left it. It's giving it a good support right there. I don't have to tie it up. And like I said, I got to come out here and harvest my rutabagas, some of them. I don't want to harvest them all at one time because I don't want to cook them all at one time, but I do need to harvest them. Tomato there. Isn't that green stalk looking good? Look at all those plants. How good that looks. It's all bell pepper plants. Bell pepper and tree collard. I got tree collards growing in my green stalk, y'all. Green stalk and peppers. I mean, tree collards and peppers. And this is one here. And I don't want it to get much bigger than what it is. I like to harvest the leaves off of them to either cook or put in my compost, because they make good compost, these leaves do. But isn't that a pretty plant? Yeah, that's just about as tall as I'm going to let that get. I can break it off and start another plant with it. But I might come out here, clean up this area, and go ahead and start planting maybe a tree, one of those collards in each one of these pots. And by the time it gets big enough, these peas will be gone anyway. They're just about gone now. I left those out there just to go to seed, so I have some to plant next year. But yeah, I love that. That is so pretty right there. Let's look at the top of it. And look at this, y'all. Look at that big tomato right there. To show you how big it is, I'll put my hand behind it. See how big it is? It's a handful already. And it's not stopped growing yet. That's one of those Ponderosa pink tomato plants. You know, I planted 3 or 4 different pots right here with these tomato plants. The Ponderosa pink, and there's 2 right back there. I can't wait till they ripen. I want to see what they look like. That's going to be a pretty tomato right there. More peppers. And look here at my tree collard. I mean, not tree collards, but just regular collards. Every one of those plants are living. They're going to make some good collards right there. And all of these too. These are the very first ones we planted right here. So they're looking good. See how all the whole garden is just perked up? Just from that little bit of rain last night. My goodness. And I'm standing back here and I can see little tomatoes on those tomato plants. Like right up there. And I know there's some I don't even see. My pepper plant's back here. Trying to survive. The wind almost blew them over. Especially this one. It was already leaning a little bit. See if I can restake this thing in the dirt. Get it pulled back up a little bit. And see what I had to do to keep Lucky from laying on my hostas? I had to put the little spikes up through there again. I don't know what I'm going to do with that little fur baby. I really don't. My sweet potato vines are still living. They're not looking too good. But I guess it's because of the temperature change. And they're probably producing potatoes. I don't know. I haven't tried to dig any of them yet. From what I read, you're supposed to wait till the vine dies back. And see, like this pepper plant here, it just grew and fell over, and that's the way it grew. It's not broke. But probably if I tried to stake it up at this point, it would break it. I'm beginning to think a tomato cage like that is the best thing for a pepper plant. If you're going to plant bell pepper, put it in a big, tall tomato cage like that. Because that one's growing out of the top of it already. Or like that one over there. And I know I've got peppers at the top, look. And it's pulling it over again. And I hate to pick them this soon. But I'd rather pick them than to let it break, let it break my bush down. It's going to break it off. There, I picked those two, and the plant kind of perked up a little bit. But my perpetual spinach is looking good, especially after this rain. Everything is just perked up tremendously. And I don't even remember what kind of tomato plant this is, but it's tried its best to put out some tomatoes, but a worm or something got on it and started eating the plant. There's a clump of tomatoes. Looks like there's 3 right there. One there. And I don't even know what kind all of them are now. The stakes have faded out to where you can't read the names. But I know for a fact that those in that big pot back there behind that green bucket, those are my Ponderosa pinks. Because that's all, the only type of tomato plant I planted back there in that section. In those 3 pots were Ponderosa pink. So I'll know if they produce, the tomatoes that's being produced back there are all Ponderosa pink. Yeah, I got to check out this stuff since it rained, because you never know what has taken place during that little rain last night. I got to do something better with my trellises next year, I think. See, like this tomato thing is falling over. That needs to be tied up. Oh, I got another eggplant back there forming at the bottom. Oh, and I got a tomato right there. I didn't even know that tomato was there. And I know that one's there. Got one started up here. You know, they all may not have chance to ripen. I probably should pick that eggplant right there. And this one's got several tomatoes on it. I'm just glad what rain we got last night didn't come with a heavy wind. Got one right there. So I need to come out here and pick my eggplant. Oh, looky here. I've got me a little Roma tomato. Look at that. That'll go in my salad later today. Got more on there, but they're green. Yeah, I just wanted to come out here and check the garden after the little bit of rain. And I got a eggplant hanging right there in the middle. I didn't know that was there. See how tall your bell pepper plants get? But they've been putting out quite a bit of bell peppers for me. And they're still producing. So I'm happy for that. Oh no, why did I not notice that when I came by? Can tie up this. I've got it tied, but the wind still blew it. Blew it over. And that'll be another one that I'll break off and root, I think. Get more of this plant on this side. There, that'll help prop it up a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably break it off about down here. Start new plants with it. Because like I said, if you like greens, greens are good for you. I mean, they're healthy. These are good to cook. They're good to break off the bad leaves and put them in your compost. It makes great plant food for your other plants if you put them in the compost. And I'm going to make some wraps with these too. Some of the best leaves I can pick off and actually make a wrap with them. Like one of the cabbage rolls. You can use these big leaves like this and make cabbage rolls. Only you're using a collard leaf. A tree collard. And you know, these don't head up like a regular cabbage or collard. It just grows tall and puts out leaves, and you harvest the leaves and you eat the leaves of them. Those last collards we planted, they make the great big old collard head. Like these. I'm going to end up harvesting some of these big leaves, and I'm going to make like cabbage rolls with them, only I'm using collard leaves, and they work great. And I'm going to harvest these leaves. If I harvest them before the worms and bugs get to them when I harvest those 2 rutabagas down there. And it probably would have grown bigger if I had not ended up with 2 of them in one pot. I didn't realize there was 2 in there. But I'll harvest these 2 and I'll cook these leaves with them. That one might get a little bit bigger since it's in a pot by itself. This is the only one of my pepper plants that's really looking good. And it's in the hot afternoon shade. You know, when the sun gets real hot in the afternoon, it gets shade back here where the other ones get a lot of the hot sun on them. Yeah, see, this pepper plant here is trying to fall over, so I'm going to lean it back to where it can kind of prop up on that bucket, just like that. And I've been checking my yellow turnips, trying to see if I've got any bulbs down there. And I think a couple of them have started to bulb up. I've never had a yellow turnip, so that's going to be interesting. All right, well, I just wanted you to come out here with me and see how the garden fared through the rain we got last night. So, thank y'all for hanging out with me and walking around and checking the garden with me this morning. And I hope y'all end up on trivia tonight, Thursday night at 7. Maybe you'll be the one that'll win. All right, well, y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you on my next one. Bye now. Love y'all.